Hey everyone, so in this episode of Make It with Calvin, I'm going to be talking about what I used to use for storing all my footage and Danielle's footage and what I'm now using to store all that footage. So let's dive into it. So first things first, this was what I used for a very long time to store all the footage that not only I shot, but also Danielle shot before we even had Living the Adventure as really any kind of a YouTube channel. And completely shameless plug here for the channel, being that I help with a lot of the filming and the editing. Please go and check out Danielle's channel if you're at all remotely into anything outdoors related. We go to a lot of really unique locations, do a lot of really cool stuff, and we are working on some other content related to, things that never made it on camera and stuff. So I highly recommend you go check her channel out, and no pressure, but if you do drop a subscribe, it'd really mean a lot to her and me. Okay, back to the video, which was the storage stuff. So the original setup was pretty simple. I was just using these Western Digital 2TB black drives, which are very nice drives and they're still very usable, but the problem is after a while 2TB gets filled up, and we shoot a lot of raw footage between my channel and her channel, and I like holding onto that raw footage because there are times where there are funny scenes or useful things that get mentioned, and that gets carried over to the main video. Now the problem was, after a while, 1 2TB drive became 2, became 4. And by that point, I was going, okay, this is not a manageable setup. There is zero redundancy here if a drive gets lost, if a drive gets damaged, anything like that. So what I ended up doing was looking into a multi-bay server setup, and I actually have to partly thank Linus's video where they showed using an old computer as a storage server, and I said, that's great, but I don't really have access to an old computer, and I don't really want something that's going to be sitting in the background running 24/7. I actually want something that I can turn on and off, because realistically I don't do editing 24/7, and that kind of felt like a waste of money and energy. So this is what I came up with. I bought a 5-bay hard drive rack off of Amazon and propagated it initially with the 2TB drives. Now, one caveat is the drives do have to be formatted before you can create a storage array. So I went ahead and bought a Seagate 8TB Barracuda drive, figuring, okay, you know what, worst case scenario, I've got an 8TB drive that I can use, and I slowly pulled the footage from my 4 2TB drives and dumped it into the 8TB drive, conveniently enough using a setup like this. So I had the drive sitting in here, and then I had the drives that I was pulling the footage from sitting here, and then I transferred them. That took quite a bit of time, but I had all of my footage backed up to an 8TB drive, so I could stick in the 2TB drives, format them, and then slowly ingest all that footage. And when I say slowly, I mean it takes a long time because it has to write that footage across the 5 drives. Now that said though, the speed setup that I've got is actually fast enough that I can edit off of this and playback off of this with really no issues, which is nice. So the other reason why I like having the multiple drives is they are set up in a way that I believe it's called Parity with striping, and I will have an overlay on the screen where Microsoft explains how that works with storage spaces. But I liked it because it gave me the most level of redundancy when it came to my storage, which is the total goal here. Now that being said, a setup like this is quite expensive. The hard drives will add up quite quickly. But when you compare it to something like, say, Google Cloud Storage, where you need a constant internet connection to make it work, and this does not, this just needs power on a computer, and the fact that this is effectively a one-time cost until a hard drive fails and you need a new one, and cloud storage is a monthly or annual fee, and if you do something that annoys the overlords at Google, you might lose your access. You get the drift. I personally prefer having a setup like this. Now, if you want to learn more about something like this, I will have some links in the description below to things that I found very useful with this. I'll also have an Amazon affiliates link to not only this, but this and the drives that I'm using. So if you guys are curious about this, I highly recommend looking at other resources. I just put this together because I explained it to a couple of people and they said, hey, do you mind doing a quick video on that to kind of explain it? And I figured, you know what? It was definitely worth a shot. So I hope you guys found this interesting, and if you do your own storage setups, I genuinely would like to know more in the comments down below. If you have any advice for people looking into getting into this, please keep it on a budget though. I did look at getting a dedicated storage server setup and just about had a heart attack when I saw the price tag on it. So as cool as that would be, that's just not in the cards at this point. I'm not doing enough content between my channel and Danielle's, and YouTube is not paying enough yet to justify dropping $3,000 to $5,000 on a storage server. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you here next time on Make It with Calvin. And like I said, no pressure. If you want to check out Danielle's channel, that'd mean a whole heck of a lot to both of us. All right, see you guys later.